Hey, welcome back. You're hanging out with Steven Shea in the Isla Monstro offices, and on this week's episode, we are discussing art. It's really hard to make an animated movie without art, so we knew that was important. Art is like oxygen. Art lifts us up where we belong. All you need is art.
Okay.
So we knew going into this we needed to decide on an art style. There's, of course, an exponential amount of different styles of artwork. But to me, the biggest inspiration for this project was Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is a series on Adult Swim. I knew that we were going to have that certain type of animation, that kind of look of animation. And to me personally, looking at shows like Futurama, South Park works fantastic with the crudest possible animation, but yet is incredibly successful. So we knew that we could be able to design ours in a way that kind of blended all these different styles, knowing that those styles also worked.
Hey there, hi, welcome, hi, how are you? Ooh, love that hat, sir. Great shirt, lady. Are those calves real?
When I was teaching myself animation, I decided to do a short film that I hand drew every single frame. It was called Shark Baby. It took me about 3.5 months to get about 2 minutes of animation after drawing every single frame and animating it. I learned a lot from that, but I also learned that this is going to be impossible to make an entire movie in this kind of fashion. Luckily, I know an incredible artist named Logan Vanderwolf. He had done a bunch of art for me for different projects in the past. I knew he was perfect for the style that we wanted for this project. So we started doing concept art when we originally were shopping this as a TV show. Logan came on to design the characters, to draw the landscapes, and put all of that initial artwork together, which just came out absolutely spectacular. So to pull off this really epic script that we wrote, we needed to design 100 individual puppets and 80 locations for this thing. So we ended up bringing on some other artists to help out. Ellie Karapides is a great friend of ours who has a fantastic style and came on board to help out with some additional artwork. Zia Izzy is a wonderful artist who also has a great style that came on to help us develop some other characters and some background elements. Chickens is an artist that I've actually worked with for years doing the comic book side of things. He's always been super fast and does a great job, and so bringing him on to help out with elements as well made the whole process of getting all of the artwork put together a lot faster and easier.
Listen, now it's time to work.
So I'm not an artist. However, I knew that I would never be able to afford to get that many assets built and created. So what I did is I started teaching myself how to trace. I would design an image in Photoshop, and then I would trace it over using the same line width and sizing that we would use for the other art pieces. And then help create additional pieces like locations, props, stuff that I didn't really feel was 100% necessary for the bigger artists to have to deal with. Time, however, ended up taking a lot more time. We had one location that was a video store in the movie, and that video store alone took me 2.5 weeks to design just that set.
Oh wow, a video store. I've heard tales of these from my peepaw.
The characters themselves are hand-drawn 2D characters that will eventually rig and put into Adobe Character Animator. But almost everything in this movie is hand-drawn by paid artists. So some of our characters have some really interesting, cool designs. And to get my inspirations across to the artist, I would either horribly sketch something or send over a bunch of concepts for them to look at to get the ideas on how to make these characters. On Isla Monstro, I ended up doing all of the coloring myself. Not because I wanted to, though I do love coloring, but to save money. I researched different Caribbean themes, color schemes, looked at some of the cool swatches that you can find on interior design sites to give our colors that kind of Caribbean vibe that we wanted. For all the artwork and the coloring and everything, I used Adobe Photoshop. Did pretty much everything through Photoshop, which is nice because it would go right into Character Animator, which would go right into Premiere. So utilizing Adobe to connect all those projects made it a lot easier. I've been using Adobe since 1999. Like, I'm old school. I never learned anything but Adobe, so I'm very glad that Adobe now is doing really, really well. With all 4 of our artists, we either had worked with them before or we got them through friends and word of mouth. I didn't cast anybody, I didn't hire anyone specifically based on their portfolios. It was all artists that we had already worked with before and knew. Chickens we met on DeviantArt, back when I was hiring a comic artist probably a decade ago. And so DeviantArt is a great place to look at different artists to hire if you find a style that you like.
It's all part of the show, folks. Tip your waiters.
The great thing about animation is that you can change things. So we had scenes that we added brand new art to after we even screened the movie for the first time because we came up with better ideas like, oh, it'd be neat if we cut to this, or what if we had this pop up? And so we were able to go back through and layer in new pieces of art that we would have the artist drop in. There's even a scene where we had the whole crew cameo, where we had the artist draw each of the crew members to pop up in the movie. And I'm Steven Shea, and we just talked about that.